Welcome to the Flip Side, episode 11. Episode 11. I'm here with my boy Leroy. He goes by Blood, Sweat, and Cell on YouTube. Leroy, welcome to the Flip Side.
I made episode 11. Like, I
Episode
don't want to
11.
be 10 because, like, everybody wants to be in the top 10. I just want to be that one step beside 11. I'm good with that.
Well, just think about how many YouTube channels are out there in this universe, and you're the 11th person to make it to the show. So you're in the top like 11 out of millions. I would say that's pretty good.
Not bad. Not bad. But I'm doing good. Just trying to grind and always trying to do things a little bit different to make sales go and make reselling fun in my eyes. I'm more worried about the fun part.
You care more about the fun than the paycheck. I like that about
Yeah.
you. Also, the first member of the RIN to come on the flip side, so you can shove that to all the people on Tuesday. Say, hey,
Nice.
I've been on the flip side, you guys haven't, so that's something you have going for you too. You know, it's a big step to make it on the show. Most people's careers are made on this podcast, so you have now made it. Congratulations.
So from now on, I'm just gonna blow up. Like,
No, from now on, it's just downhill. This is the
okay,
This
okay.
is this is the peak of your career as a reseller, as a human being, as a YouTuber. You're at your peak. After this, you're just going downhill.
I'm just going down. Nice, nice.
I just, I just
I was hoping there was going to be a dropping point, and I'm glad that this is. Yeah, no, 11. I should have thought about number 11 is after number 10, which
yes.
10 is the best, but
It's
11 is not better than 10.
I don't know.
Nobody
It depends.
what's your top 11? No,
But you great thing is on a scale of 10, right? Say, oh, that girl's a 10 out of 10. But if she's even hotter, she's an 11 out of 10, and that's you. So you look at
yeah,
it that way.
yeah. Ladies, don't worry about that.
Anyways, Leroy, tell the people who you are. People that maybe not know who
I
this Leroy Blood character is.
Yeah, I am actually. My government name is actually Leroy Blood. I don't even know if
Yeah,
Paul knows that. I think he does.
I do. That's
Um,
why I said
it
it.
is Leroy Blood. I am a reseller on eBay online, and I also do flea markets.
Mm.
Um, I sell pretty much in one category. I do 90% of my selling is tools. 90% of them are hand tools and hardware. It's not power tools. And I make a living doing it.
There we go. My man is a tool that sells tools. I love it. Pretty accurate.
Yeah, sort of.
All right. So this show is called the Flip Side, Leroy. So we try to spend as little time talking about reselling as possible. But
Okay.
I do want to get a little bit into it just in the beginning. But like how did you get started in this sphere? What made you want to first of all start reselling tools? Second of all, start a channel about it.
Okay. I'm gonna go one step. I'm gonna give Paul the best I can. So I'm gonna go one step further.
I appreciate that.
I started doing reselling. I actually used to ride my bicycle at 16 years old to the flea market that was 26 miles away.
16 years
Um,
old.
16 years
This is
old.
1947.
Yeah, close to 1990. Yeah, and, um, and I used to ride my bike to the flea market, and then there was a guy there that I ended up like just chit chatting and being cool with. He's like, hey, he's like, if you sell, if you sell some, I'm gonna go. I gotta pay my bill. I gotta clean up a little bit. Sell some of my stuff. Take the money. Sell some of my stuff, and then I'll give you like a $20 credit.
Oh,
And I'll let you keep your bike here so nobody steals your bike and you can go walk around. So I was like, all right, that's cool. So I did that for
man,
probably like 6 or 7 times.
$20 for a 16-year-old is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Especially in the 90s. Dang.
Yeah. And so I started doing that and really, really enjoyed it. And then when I had a landscape business before actually around that same age, I had a landscape business. I had like 6 or 7 accounts at 16.
Dang.
When I graduated from high school, I was 19. I stayed back a couple of years, but I was like 19 when I graduated from high school, and the day of my graduation, I actually had 11 houses to cut.
The day you graduated?
Yeah, yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, yeah. So
So you
I've
were like
always,
that entrepreneurship mindset from a young age, pretty much, right?
yeah, I've always been on that grind. Um, I had to get rid of some of my older equipment, and a buddy told me a thing called a swap meet. Now, I know most of you guys know that we have flea markets here on the East Coast. In the West Coast, they're actually called swap meets, but a swap meet on the East Coast is like a specific, like an auto swap meet or a gun swap meet
Yeah.
or a
Where it's
chocolate
just
swap meet.
just one sort of item. It's like a flea market, but just for one type of item, pretty much. That's how
And
you describe it.
it's only like a weekend event.
Hmm.
Like every year, June 15th, they'll have an auto swap meet at Bushwick Bill Speedway.
Yeah.
And I started doing that and really fell in love with it. Like I would go and stay there for like 4 days and make like, 1,400 bucks
Dang. Okay.
and get rid of the older equipment that was just about to die or
Yeah.
whatever, and then get new toys and stuff like that. Um, and then I got into eBay probably, I want to say, I don't know what year. I don't even know what age I was. It was almost 20 years ago now.
Wow. So like 2003, 2004 ish,
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
ballpark. Okay.
And it was crazy because I had to have somebody else do my eBay because of my learning's a little off, not perfect, and so I had it in another account. But I've had this account now for 11 years.
Dang. Okay.
So
So was there anything between landscaping and eBay that you did, or was it just from one from
yeah,
landscaping to eBay?
I did construction for about 10 years.
Oof.
So
What kind?
eBay, I'm sorry,
What kind of construction?
laborer, a union laborer.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound like fun.
in Boston. It wasn't fun, but six figures at 30 is fun. That's all I'm gonna say. It doesn't mean I have anything, but 30 years old, 30 years old, getting $2,000 paycheck a week plus that didn't count my eBay. That didn't
Yeah.
count my landscape business.
Oh, you did that at the same time too?
I had my landscape business from 16 until I was 32.
Dang, you had it for 16 years.
Yeah,
Sheesh. Okay.
yeah, yeah. And I did it for like 6 years, but just that by itself. But I've always had like three jobs. So this is sort of like my retirement because I only have like
Yeah.
three right now.
Does it feel weird now? You're like, yo, I should be doing something else. Like why am I only having one type of income? Do you have like
It,
weird things like tell us about that?
I do actually have other sources of income. I actually do side work. I'll do
Yeah. Oh yeah,
gardening.
yeah. You told me about that. Yeah. You're like
Yeah,
like a handyman, right? You're like a
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But it's all on my pace.
Hmm.
Like if you don't like, if you can get a guy that will paint your bathroom and he'll do it in 3 hours, I'm gonna do it in 10. Like,
Yeah.
and if you don't like it, it's okay. Like, go away. I just
Go
it,
away.
no, because it's like I know that my work is decent. I don't do it every day, but I'm very careful. The way that I leave your house is the way that I entered your house.
Yeah.
And the price that I told you is the price that it is. Like, there's
Yeah.
no surprises. So I do side jobs like every. I have three. So I have four people that I do work for. I do my eBay. There's an estate company that I'll do prepping and I'll do ship. I'll do like not shipping but deliveries for.
Okay.
And then I have another a family that I do any of their gardening or anything that they need done. They tell me. I have a school, a nursery school that I do work for them. But and then my landlord where I am here, I do work for him. But those are like not like all the time.
Yeah.
It's like those are my four people, and some months I do two or three jobs for them. Some months I don't do any. but I don't want any more.
And then if you can't pay the bills on time, you just sell pictures of your feet, right? And then you cover the bills that way.
Size 14, the girls love it. Yeah,
Yeah, well, I have a size 16, so
I
I can
know.
definitely I can concur.
Your 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 baby toe is probably the size of my big toe.
It only took 10 minutes to get the two feet pics, man. So I'm proud of us. It took us that long, so
And
that was good. It's
just so
good
you get,
restraint.
just so if none of you guys know, Paul, the first time Paul and I met, I think he had me in his arms within like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
Yeah, it was like 10 minutes. He smoked me off my feet,
Yeah,
and
literally picked you up.
it,
And you were shocked. Nobody had picked you up before. You're like, whoa, what's going on here?
yeah, I was about 260
Yeah,
at that point.
it
So,
was a good workout.
but it's been a journey. Reselling is a journey, and it's a little tougher when you just sell one thing. Paul and I have been picking together, and he nobody worries about me, and I don't really worry about them because I'm looking for something totally different.
Yep, exactly. Well, because of what you do, though, you did expand my horizons to look at the kind of stuff that I would have never looked at in the past.
Yeah,
I anytime I see a rigid wrench or a rigid pipe cutter now, I'm like, oh, I know that's
yeah,
money. Grab that. Like vintage, screwdrivers and all of that stuff. I'm like, oh, yep, that's money. Stuff that I would walk always passing, like I would walk by in the past. I'm like, wait a minute, there's some money laying around there. Let me go grab that real quick. Yeah.
and I know like Paul will say the same thing, and I always say it. I mean, honestly, a lot of people say, "Oh well, there's just not a lot of good places in my area to go thrifting." This should not be a yard sale that you go to that you can't make a profit off of. I don't care if it's pink
I
and
agreed.
blue when you pull up.
Yeah, that's. I talked about this with Art of Resale a couple of episodes ago. It's like, yeah, if you okay, now if you first start off, yes, there's probably plenty that you can walk past and not know. But once you've been doing this for a couple of years, and you should have the knowledge in you that yeah, you should be at least buying one thing from every yard sale. That there should be at least something that at every unless it's overpriced, something like that. But usually you can make profit almost all of them. Like I told you about this when I moved down here. People warned me saying, "Oh, watch out, Florida yard sales there are terrible. You're not gonna find anything." I've been doing better here than I was in PA.
Yes.
so and I'm like, have the yard sales changed in the last 6 months, or just maybe people weren't looking at what I've been looking? That's how it is.
So this is something that we could discuss real quick. Is you guys know Paul? This is Paul's channel, but I also did the same thing as Paul, as I actually moved over 900 miles away from where I was raised and born. Yeah, not even 4 years ago.
Yeah, I
So
followed your footsteps, man.
I had did what Paul did just a few years earlier, and I came down. I think believe Paul did too. I came down to my area that I wanted to base out of, and I'll tell you guys, like I actually looked at flea markets, yard sales, auctions, where I was going to base, and I sort of, it was within like 100 miles, but I sort of put my butt right where I knew I was going to be in the center. To be honest,
Oh,
like
okay.
I
That
knew
was a big key in what you were moving for. You're like, I want to be in a spot where I'm and
I
close
needed
to
to be an
everything.
hour. I needed to be an hour away from a good airport because I have a child in Rhode Island.
Yeah,
So I didn't want a little. I have airports here, but I don't want to layover. I want to go Charlotte, Boston, done.
yeah.
So I want to be an hour away from that. There is a church that I go to that's 40 minutes from there. And then all around me is Charlotte is only an hour and 20 minutes. Columbia is only an hour and 10 minutes. Tennessee is only 2 hours from me.
Yeah.
And Georgia is only three. So I'm in that area and I can thrift year round. I can flea market year round. I could never do that back home.
Same with Pennsylvania.
And
Yep.
for what I'm into is old farm tools and old usable tools. There's a lot of old farmland I call it on the top of Charlotte, but above Charlotte, like a rainbow, there's auctions that I can go to I could probably go to 4 or 5 a week if I had the money or if I really wanted to. So
I loved your mentality when you said Charlotte's only an hour away, right? That it just shows what your mentality is like because there's other resellers that go, I don't want to travel an hour to go to a yard sale. I don't want to travel an hour to go to this auction house. And I'm the same mentality as you because I usually go down to Fort Myers, which is about an hour away from me, and I pick there every Saturday for yard sales. So like I'm the same mentality. Fort Myers is only an hour away, and it's picking gold. Me and you would travel that hour to go somewhere knowing that it's going to be good stuff to find. Other resellers maybe want to stay in like a 10-mile radius of their location, and then they always complain that they can't find anything.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like if you want to sell golf clubs, you're gonna go near not one golf course. There has to be 5 golf courses around you. Like
Yeah.
you have to if you want to sell, you know, beach shirts, then you gotta have the ocean near you. Like I want to sell, I want to sell farm tools. Well, guess what? I'm going in the farm.
You're definitely not going to no video game convention, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to find the hand tools in OBX, North Carolina.
Very
So,
very unlikely somebody out there is going to be using those things for sure. Yeah.
but it's. I know you said this isn't a reselling channel, but I've reselling in my blood, guys. I
Well,
love
no, it's definitely see the channel called Flip Side, so it's about flipping. But
yeah,
then it's also about the flip side of life. So every single episode, there's tons of reselling talk still, but it is also more about like get to know Leroy, get to know who he is as a human
yeah,
being. But we definitely still do lots of reseller talk. Don't worry.
yeah, yeah.
But
I
it's not like what is the bolo of the week?
yeah, yeah,
What is it's not like that. Do you use a box in a bag when you ship? That's not how we talk about it.
yeah.
There's plenty of other reseller shows like that out there. This is gonna be it's gonna be a little different. Speaking of reseller shows like that out there, the one you're on, Resale Information Network. I think that one, if people that are especially getting started into reselling, man, you guys have. Well, I don't know
We've
about
been
you,
growing. Yeah, we've been really
but
growing.
the other people have a lot of knowledge to give out. I don't know if you do personally,
I
but
I
the
don't
other
have
one.
much. I don't have much, guys. I'm usually never on camera. I get phone calls like in between my show.
Yeah, some jerks just call you in the middle of the
I
show.
just
Who would
walk
do that?
away and go on the phone. I'll go to lunch, go to the post office. These guys are still on the live. But no, I met all these guys like 3 years ago. Eric OBX, Tim over the years, and Cernak Connection, and they're amazing. And sort of like
How'd you meet them?
Eric was doing lives, and I jumped on. That's how I met you.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, well, eh,
Like I wasn't afraid. It was
and
just
you guys are and like me, I would say me and you are good friends, right? I would call that us, and never knew each other. We're doing lives and just jumped on, started talking, and boom, look where we are now. It's crazy how it works, right?
then you go to a couple of conventions and you end up meeting up with some of the people. The crazy part is you have people that you talk to on a weekly or monthly basis, and you never met them yet. There's a
Yeah.
few people that I really want to meet. I'm not going to call them out because they'll think they're special, but and I've just never got to meet them yet, and I feel close. You know,
Yeah.
feel close with them.
I feel the same way. There's a couple of people like that too, and I'm like, some people I talk to, like I said, like on a weekly basis, sometimes on a daily basis, and I'm like, wow, we're really good. Like Art's a really good one. The Art of Resale for who
Yeah,
is in Vegas.
I've met Art.
Oh, see, I haven't met Art yet, but me and him talk like all the time, and it's like, wow, we never met each other. Ray, another one, Nashville Flippers. I talk
Yeah,
to him all the time, and I'm like, wow, I never met him either. It's
yeah,
kind of crazy. Yeah.
yeah.
I had a
But
chance. I met you twice, right? I met you in South Carolina at
three
the
times.
bowling alley, and then I met you in Virginia. What was the third time?
I think it's three, but it might be two. How many? You only went to one Dante event,
Yeah, I only went to the first one, and
so I met
then
you. I
and
did
then
meet you
then I
more. Yeah, yeah, it was
uh,
twice. It feels like it was more.
yeah. Well, the Virginia thing was like a 4-day thing, so
Yeah,
you probably got
and
tired of me by the end of it.
Paul and I ended up like taking because those like Paul and I would say are more search pickers, and other people are pop and drop. I don't know if that even makes sense, but
Yeah,
like they just
I don't have a name for that either. I don't know what the name for the other people
like
are. Yeah.
they just like like look and scoot. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not trying to make up words to rhyme, but they just
Look, pop and drop, look and scoot.
but they just like look and then they're gone. And if they like it, they pick it up. Where Paul and I like we don't pick out our phones. I hardly comp. I don't like to
Yeah.
comp. Unless I got to pay up for it. But
Hmm.
like you guys are lucky. Like everybody on this channel, like this guy. If you ever get a chance to go picking with him, like first of all, get a niche that he doesn't like because if not, you're in trouble. Thank God.
I like all dishes. What do
He's better now. He's better now because he doesn't buy as much. Um, but
That's very accurate.
yeah, he doesn't buy as much now. But I've gone to sales with him when we went to Virginia. This guy's listing while driving. Like I see the signs that say no drinking and driving, no texting and driving, but this guy's listing and driving.
Have you seen a sign that says no listing and driving?
Not
See,
yet.
I'm not breaking any laws. Eh?
No, we go to the next yard and he's already listed 3 items.
Yeah. Sometimes they're already sold.
Yeah, like, he's like whatnot, and like the guy at the in the what's it the bins, the guy who does
Uh-huh. Yeah, flip the
whatnot.
world. Yeah, Chris, flip the world. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's exactly how it goes, man. What's the point of buying if you're going to list it, right? Might as well list it right away.
list it right away. And I do want to speak about. I'm excited, guys. If I'm cutting them off, if I'm talking too much, I apologize.
I don't have to
But
apologize at all.
I Paul and I again. I've never gone with him to an auction. When he did his auction videos, I was probably like the number one stalker because it's funny because you guys, if you guys don't find an auction, then there's not that it takes a while to find the good one. I'm gonna put it to you that way. I'm gonna tell you guys what I tell everybody. Auctionzip.com. Okay. I've been using auctionzip.com probably since before Paul.
Look at that. Look at that free tip right there. I like that tip. Look at you. Just dropping out the
But I've
free
been using
knowledge.
auctionzip.com for over 20 years. It's just a auction. It's just a website that you put your zip code in, and it shows you all the different auctions: house auctions, car auctions, public auctions, um, live auctions, online auctions. It's an auction platform, and it shows you every day. It gives you a calendar. So, say for instance, you think you're going to go to Tennessee with your family, you literally can put the address in auctionzip.com and try to find an auction. I've done it. like
I believe it.
you know, so um, Paul had an auction up north, and I don't have one here, but I had a few back home. But that's how I find all of my estate auctions, not estate sales, estate auctions. So estate auctions is on the property of
Yes.
the, the person, usually the deceased. Um, I have said this time and time again, but I can say it again quickly. When you get to a lot of these places in the South and even up north, when they have big properties, it's an estate. It becomes an estate. And to be honest with you, nothing can move from that property. It all has to be sold, and then the family gets theirs. There's a
Yeah.
few things that might be in the will, but because these people have so much stuff or so many kids, it goes to a lawyer, it goes to an estate company. So you sometimes you could be bidding against a daughter or a son-in-law.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
But
well, it's not like I'm giving my rigid collection to my kid. You know, that's not in his will. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So there's a lot of those auctions throughout the United States. And but that's a state auction. But when you find a good auction
There was
gallery,
a big one close to you, with the lawyer that killed like his family,
yeah,
Murdoch.
yeah, I
Yeah,
heard about that.
yeah. There was a big estate auction for all of his stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know how far he is from where you are, but I know he's South Carolina as well. But I don't know how far.
I heard about that. I wouldn't go to something like that. I like the
I
one
I've just seen like the results online. And holy moly!
too
I
much.
think people were just bidding up just because it was his stuff.
Exactly.
But it was like as a reseller, there was zero money to be made on that stuff. It was
Exactly.
just like it
Exactly.
was just crazy.
I like the ones where I see the pictures and sort of like your auction gallery. Now, and that's what I was trying to get at. And the auction gallery that Paul was going to up north, sometimes you can't even see everything. It's all just shoved in a box. You should go an hour or two early to look in the boxes
It's a
when
really good tip.
nobody's there. They'll let you. They're setting up. They'll let you if you don't make a mess.
Yeah, yeah. Mine open at 5 my auctions are at 5 p.m. on Mondays, but they open at 12.
At
So
12, yeah.
you have
And you
5 hours to
gotta.
go and look if you want to. Yeah.
Yep, yep. And those auctions, Paul's done very well at those auctions. You're gonna buy everything in the box, but there's one piece that's worth $50. You bought the box for 5.
Yeah. Well, like sometimes, like you said, like there was a box of DVDs, but at the bottom of the DVDs there was like 12 video games, and the people just the auctioneer doesn't know this. The people holding it don't know. They just see DVDs. I have a box of DVDs. I'm like, all right, give me $2. And then underneath it, there's like 12 video games that are worth like $40 each that nobody even knew about because they just see a box of DVDs that the people are holding. I've had it as well with like silverware. They'd be like expensive silverware, but there'll be just like a jar just full of just random forks. Nobody knows it's in there, but if you go there earlier, look around. Definitely, it's a really good tip for sure. You can definitely get a big advantage on it. Yeah.
And then if you do have a yard sale stockpile or a flea market nearby, then you can sell the stuff for 50 cents each and still make
Yep.
what you paid for everything.
Yeah. It looks like I don't know how much, which ones you had, but the ones we had sometimes be like, all right, the whole table,
Oh yes,
take everything $2, and I'm like, my mind is like, how do I say no?
I
Like,
I bought rooms.
yeah, see,
Yeah, I bought rooms.
at
The
that
room
price range, if you sell them for like a quarter each, you're still making hands like a head over fist of how much money you're making based on how
listen,
little you paid for it. Yeah,
you get a whole garage, and you pay $400 for it, and there's 800 pieces. Guess what? It's 50 cents each.
yeah, exactly. So even if you sell like a $2 each, you're still making over a grand.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's I do miss the auctions a lot. The
you'll
what's
find
preventing me,
you'll
I have
find
one close. What's preventing me from going is just like I said, the room situation I have now compared to what I had is like I can't come home with tons and tons and tons of stuff, and I know I have no willpower, so that if I do go to an auction, I can't resist not bidding. You know, that's the problem I have. So like, unless I get like the bigger house that I want to get, and then in the bigger house, I do want to have like a reseller shed out back that was going to be dedicated for it. Then I can go a little more crazier. Here, I gotta just control myself and just do yard sales or garage sales until we get to the level again.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I got some questions for you now.
Go ahead.
That you mentioned about your life. Talk to me a little about being a union worker. How does somebody get into that job? I thought you had to like know somebody to become a union worker.
You gotta know Anthony.
Oh, that's the guy.
Gotta know Anthony. You know Anthony. He talks to Billy. You talk to Anthony. You talk to Vinny. Vinny comes over, gives you a kiss on the cheek. He says, "Hey, Leroy, come with us. We need to talk." And I say, "Yes, sir." And he says, "Whatever you see over here, you say nothing. You do what we tell you to do. You know what I mean?" He kissed me on the cheek. I do the job, and that's it.
Is Vinny the one that gave you the knife to put in your sock too? Did Vinny
It
teach you
is
that?
Vinny. I swear to God, that's hilarious. It was really Vinny. That's funny. I forgot you knew that story. It, we're in the, you have to go to a training. I went to the laborers training. I was older. I did construction for a long time, but they want to know who you are. They don't just let you in.
Yeah.
So, so I went to the laborers training, and the guys were like, "Oh, I'll stab you," and I was like, "I'll stab you," and then Vinny like takes like a week to get his leg up on the table, and then his socks are up like just 2 inches below his knee. He pulls the sock down. He grabs the switch and whoosh. He goes, "Now this is a knife." And for the longest, I don't do it anymore, but for the longest time, I carried a switchblade. I was working in Boston. I was
You
working in
carry a
Boston
switchblade in your sock, huh? That's crazy.
in my
Right?
sock. Like it's like longer than my. It was like a 7-inch switchblade, and I'm not talking about those ones that you push. I'm talking about you put a tie-in stiletto. Like it's a
Yeah.
real tie-in stiletto.
Did you ever have to use it? Did you ever come close to using it? Uh,
I put it on my side. I had my necklace on. I have a necklace underneath. I don't wear it outside, and I paid good money for it. You know that you have to have one up there with the guys. You gotta
yeah.
have a good necklace. They say, hey, Leroy, you know, you gotta put a little gold on your neck. Your skin's white. Your skin's tan. You gotta put a little bling bling up there. You know. Yes, Anthony. Yes, I understand. And you
Yeah.
guys think I'm joking, but it's all really true.
Like, it's like you put a little gold or you lose the job, right? You got to
Yeah.
put the little gold in your neck.
So I was walking on the subway, and I felt like the third or fourth day I was going into like a school area. The third or fourth day, I felt like these same guys kept walking behind me at 5 in the morning.
Oof.
So I
That
acted like
that must be a little scary.
yeah, so I acted like I was tying my shoe, and I went into the old Vinny sock, and I grabbed Stewie the stiletto and put him in my pocket,
He
and
got a name, huh, Stewie?
Stewie the stiletto, put him in my pocket, and I just I never pulled it out, but I'll tell you, no offense to anyone who lives here in the South, but I'm more afraid here in the South, and it could be I'm just getting older than I was up north. Um,
Really?
yeah, they're poorer down here, and they 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 they, they think they're too slick.
Ah, okay.
Like up north,
Interesting.
you knew there was places in Philly that you shouldn't go, but you could go, and you just knew, hey, these couple of streets I shouldn't drive down at 2 in the morning.
No, yeah. There's
Probably wouldn't be
definitely a couple you definitely avoid for sure. Yeah.
yeah, and but down here there's a huge homeless population,
Oh,
and
really?
because they can stay year round. So
Okay.
it gets 30 degrees. They're not. It's not. It doesn't. Still doesn't freeze them out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, the average temperature here in the winter is between 42 and 38 degrees, which you can
Oh,
live.
that's man,
That's
that's
not
cold.
high.
That's cold.
Not for
Here it's
Philly.
here it's like 60 in the
Yeah,
winter.
but
It
in
gets down.
Philly, Boston, Rhode Island,
Oh yeah,
it
you,
was
you get
60.
you get zeros or like below zero sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
then that weeds out the homeless population.
That's interesting. I haven't. I've seen maybe two homeless people in my city since I've been here. So maybe it's also a newer city, up and coming city. So not many people are actually here yet. It's still growing. If I know if I go to like the bigger cities like the Fort Myers, there's the Tampas, there's probably a lot more there. But I legit only seen like two so far here, two people, and I know exactly where they are, like on what corners and stuff. But I feel maybe just I'm probably in a little more older population than you, so I feel way more safe here than I did up north.
Yeah,
But that's also just could be my city. But I'm sometimes like so negligent. Like there's been multiple times where I left my house and I forgot to lock the door. I think I locked it and I forget. I come home and it's still open. I'm like, I have hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of inventory in here. The door was just like it was closed, but it wasn't locked. I'm like, hey, everybody, come in, go,
I've,
go, go
already,
grab your stuff.
I've already had my stuff stolen from me here.
From your warehouse or from your?
Not my warehouse. They stole my trailer right in my driveway
Wow, how
because
did that happen?
they take the trail a utility any trailer under a certain GBW. So you could have a 15-20 foot box trailer. It doesn't need a registration.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, you can't prove if it's yours or not
Yeah.
because it doesn't. You just drive it. It doesn't need a license plate.
Dang.
So they see them, and everybody down here and their grandmother has a lawnmower and a landscape business.
That makes
So
sense.
they'll steal it. They'll steal it, and they'll steal it, and no thought. So
Do you have like cameras or anything outside, or so you know
no.
who
I
does
live
it?
in a big like, apartment like luxury apartment complex, but it doesn't matter. you know, if somebody wants something, they're gonna take it. Like,
So is that why you buy granny panties and hang them on the trailer so nobody steals them?
so yeah, yeah. Those are in Texas now.
Oh, so wait, somebody bought it for you?
I gave them to Danica.
Oh.
I mean, the perfect person, right?
I must say that's a like a person to like hang down something as special as those. Danica's the perfect person to get him. That's for sure.
Yeah. And if you
Dang.
guys don't know, I had a pair right over here. I had a pair of drawers that were bigger than they came down to like here, and they were like made by it was just like a prank, but they were like
They were pretty big.
they were big. They were big. I hope that no one ever would fit them. I'll put it to you that way.
Uh, are they still on your Instagram? I'm searching right now to get a picture.
They were
You get
it was,
a lot of alarm pictures on your Instagram.
yeah, that was back in the day when I tried to get up early.
There we go. I found him. I found him.
Yeah,
I guess this is you have to be on the YouTube to see it, but that's a that's a big car.
that's my van. Yeah.
How wide are these things? Would you say
Oh, what do you say, Paul? I mean, at least 3 feet.
3 feet wide and probably another like 3 feet long? I'd probably
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. And the legs got to be at least 18, 20 inches each hole. I don't think they get, I mean, are they thongs for somebody that big?
uh,
I mean, that's the
I,
front side, but
I,
honestly,
I love your tagline. She said it was a little secret, and I stopped answering her phone calls. She decided to put these on my van. No one's going to know. Oh man, that was they were quite the panties, man.
yeah.
They were just hanging in your warehouse just as the backdrop. Man. That's funny.
And one day I was on the Resell Information Network and I was on the show, and certain people, I'm not gonna say names, but certain people like to everybody talks, and I sell stuff that it's cheap, but and I make a living. And I had these nuts and bolts. I had a whole bin of them, and I took a day, not a day, like a half a day, and I put all the nuts together, and I made like packages of 100 or package of 10 or 50, and I took that $10 box of nuts and made it into like five, a lots worth of like $500.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I'll sell a bag, I'll sell a bag, I'll sell a bag. And somebody bought one when I was on the show, and I was like, "Hey guys, look! Some idiot decided to buy some nuts and bolts." It was Danica. I was live on the show. I felt, and she is like the hot to me. Like I really care about Danica. I've never met
Yeah,
her, and I
she's like, yeah, I met her. She's amazing. Yeah.
yeah, and I really there's something about her that I just really like her. And I sent Paul. I'll tell you when I sent her the nuts and bolts, and it was I sent her. I took like six things out of my store, shoved it all in the bag, shoved the panties in the bag. Like I gave her like $200 worth of stuff because I felt like such a jerk.
Wow. Did you talk to her afterwards? I'm sure you
Oh,
did.
I
Yeah,
called
yeah,
her.
yeah,
I
yeah.
called her because I was so upset with myself. It wasn't nothing against that. It
No,
was
yeah,
just people, people say, "Oh, well, I wouldn't waste my time playing with nuts and bolts." Well, that's what I do.
yeah.
It's different. Like I
I'm
know how it
sure she
came
knew
from.
you meant no harm by it, right? I don't think she
Yeah, I
was like
know, but
upset.
it
Yeah.
bothered me more.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
It bothered me more because I was being defensive about what I do,
Yeah.
and offended could have offended a good friend.
No,
So
it's a good lesson there for people
yes,
to take home for sure. Being defensive about what you can do can hurt somebody else, you know. So, yeah,
yeah,
but I think the people that know you, as like if I know you, Danica, how Danica knows you, I think they know you can say whatever you want about me. I know you will mean no harm about it.
yeah.
I don't think there's like an evil bone in your body.
I just look at it as whoever. If you dislike someone that I like, or I dislike someone that you like, that it shouldn't even get to that point. I like who I like who you like, and I'm no different because I like so and so, and you're no different because you don't.
Yeah,
And
that's a good lesson there because I lost a lot of friends. I guess I guess I can still call them friends on YouTube here. They were like, "You talk to so and so, I can't talk to you now," and I'm like, "How does my relationship with this person affect my relationship with you?" It's like it's. I felt like I was back in high school for a second. I was like, "Really? That's the game we're playing over here?"
I'm not in the community as much as I used to be, even though I'm with the guys, but that's about all I do.
Yeah.
So I don't not really in the loop on.
Yeah, well, yeah, you used to have like a morning show and everything. You used to be like way
Yeah,
more
with
involved, right?
Mo,
Yeah.
I like Mo from California. I had a morning show with Mo for a while. I've been on I've been doing this for a while, YouTube, and you had asked me about it before, and I just pushed it away. I'm not big on my YouTube, guys. You can go check it out, but I don't post much. I don't do that for a living.
Did you get a paycheck from them yet, or no?
No, I'm not even monetized.
You never even monetized yet? Oh,
I
we
have
got
a I have 1,000. I have 1,000. I have like 1,100 subs and like 200 watch hours.
but you gotta. We gotta start going live with
I
you,
heard
man.
they moved it down. I heard they moved it to 500. They've lowered the watch hours, right?
They lowered both the sub count and the watch hours. So the sub count is now 500, and the watch hours now is 3,000 instead of 4,000. So
Which they should have did the opposite. It's still hard to get 3,000 watch hours.
yeah, well, not if you go live the whole time, man. Just do a couple of 24-hour lives and get those in no time, man.
Yeah, and I've done those. I've done those. I
Yeah.
did one.
You,
Paul was
you,
around
yeah, you came on. Come on. You were eating olives like at 4 in the morning.
at my parents. Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
were just like, let me go get a quick snack, and you just grab a bag of olives and just snacking on olives. Never seen that before.
yeah. So yeah, I mean it's really fun, and you just you got to do your job. We're all doing a job. You do your job the best that you can, and you make it fun. None of us are promised tomorrow, and you'll learn from each other. Like I'm not jealous of Paul. Like I'm proud of Paul. I'm not jealous of anybody. If I have a problem with what I'm doing, I need to do better, not put him
Mm.
down. If I put
That,
him down, it's not going to
that's
make me better.
it's a very deep point, man. It's a very deep point.
You said, oh, I see in here you have alarm clock pitches. Yeah, I pushed myself, and I pushed myself. It was like I forgot it was like 20 days. I had to be in this warehouse by 5 a.m.
It's crazy.
and I would work from like 5 a.m. to 7.
Did you see your productivity go up a lot during those 20 days?
Oh, it always does. Yeah, you know
Hey.
that. Yeah, it always does. You gotta, you're on a bunch of different platforms. You're even on whatnot now, right?
Technically, I
Well,
haven't had
everything's
a show in like 3 weeks, but I'm there.
okay. Okay.
It's just at the like you said, I have three YouTube channels. I have my reselling business. I have other things going on that one that's at the very bottom of my attention span right now, and it will take a lot for it to climb in the ranks. And I have to be in the right mindset to do it because, like I said, it's like a live. You have to be entertaining. A lot of times when it's time for the whatnot show, I've been working the whole day. I've been doing this, and I'm just beat. And like I come do my show, and I'm just like meh, and I don't sell anything, and I'm miserable, and I'm like, why do something if you're miserable, right?
Yeah,
That was my mindset.
that's what I, I I could call somebody up and I could get 400 sneakers tomorrow and I can start selling sneakers. But I don't want to do that. I I enjoy finding new things. I enjoy finding old things that I haven't seen in a while. Um, I get more excited about a $13 sale than I do a $200 sale. Like some.
And I know you, and that's not an exaggeration. That's very honest, and that's exactly how you are.
I, I'm going to. You could talk. I'm going to do something real quick.
Oh, but
This.
like we'll talk about the miserable part. Is like a lot of us chose this profession this full time profession is because the job we were doing before this was making us miserable, and we were like, all right, let's go into reselling. We're going to work for ourselves. A lot of people, though, when they get into it, they just, I guess, have no self control or know how to stop, and then they just become as miserable doing this as they were doing the other stuff. And that was kind of me in Philly at some points. Another reason why I had to move. I was just like working myself to death, and I was like, I'm not happy. So
Yeah,
like when I chose to come down to Florida, it's more of like a lifestyle change than just a location change. A lot of things about me changed. A lot of things about the way I look at life changed, and I'm a way happier human being now than I was 6 months ago. That's for sure.
yeah. And that's what that's the same thing with me. Like, we had mentioned about the union. I mean, I was a union laborer in Boston, which is one of the top five, cities in the United States that the highest paid. I was getting $110,000 a year as a laborer. I mean, they were taking 40,000. I ain't gonna lie, you know. But I was making really really good money. But I was leaving. I was up at uh, I was up at 4:20. I was out of the house by a quarter of. I was on the train at 10 minutes of 5, and I wouldn't get home until quarter 7.
Sheesh. Yeah.
And when I got home, it was make lunch, and my body would fall asleep. And I started getting older, and my mentality is the same as my mentality with reselling is go, 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 go. And the only person I need to impress is Leroy Blood. I
Yeah.
don't need to impress you guys.
That's exactly how I am. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
So
except for it's not Leroy Blood, it's Paul. I don't
it's
have to.
yeah,
I don't have to impress Leroy Blood. I'm already impressed him enough.
I have to impress. I have to impress Paul. But Paul, I got a question for you.
Uh
How
oh.
bad?
Don't you know this is my show? You try to come and asking me questions. What do you think this is?
I'm trying to find the way to show my souls without showing their name and their on YouTube.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
is.
you have to actually like edit it afterwards and just like put a blackout thing on it.
Yes. Okay, no
From
big deal.
from your phone, you can
From your
show it.
phone, it's easy. Yeah,
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 I don't think you can do it from the browser. Right? You could have
yeah.
shown me your amazing sales day,
No, 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 no.
million dollar sales.
No, I was gonna brag about my $12 sales.
There you go, man.
but but that's the thing. It's a lot of the. Actually, you could go under. Um, you can go. I know how I could have did it. Go under my store and then look at souls
Oh yeah, you could have
on
done
your
that. Yeah,
on your end, and then it wouldn't have showed. But it's
yeah.
okay. But
We believe you. We believe you have $12 sales. You don't have to push
come
up
on,
proof.
come on. But what do you like? If somebody asks you, would you get questions from people? What do you think is a fair um um average sale price?
Again, it just depends on what my always thing is that everybody has a different journey in this, right? So what's fair to me is was not fair to somebody. I was very happy in PA with a $25 ASP, and
Really?
I was very happy with that. Right now in Florida, I have a $40 ASP, and I was like, "Whoa, this is way better, way better than 25."
I hit I hit 40. I hit 40 for about 40 days. That was about it.
Yeah,
I'm at I'm at 35. I
it,
float between 32 and 37.
Well, like I said, in PA, I was doing a bunch, when I was picking, I would buy everything. Oh, it's $1. Okay, I can sell it for 15. I'm grabbing it. Because I didn't care about the work thing. I didn't care about the space. I had it. I was gonna buy it. Doing a lot of at the auction, you get a whole table for $3. All the things are $10, $15 on eBay. I would list all of those things, turn
Yes,
that
and
three
make it
three
and
dollars
that
into 500. Yeah,
and it sells in 10 seconds.
yeah. So here I don't have the luxury of the space, so I'm actually going and trying to get a higher dollar value at the yard sales to bring home. And that's the beauty about Florida is I'm finding so much more higher dollar stuff here than I was finding in Pennsylvania. Like this weekend, I went and I found a guy who sells security systems, like industrial, business,
I
professional cameras and stuff like that.
I bought that lot out of auction one time.
Auction, yeah,
You know, they'll do a lot of temp the keypads and lights for places,
yeah.
and then they just get rid of them. I bought a whole box for $11. I made like 2 grand.
Wow. Yeah. There. I
It
listed.
was a CSI, not CSI. I think you know NES, or I think it's NES. Is one of the name brands.
Yeah. I don't think it's one
It's
I
got a
have,
light.
but yeah, it's not like a ring camera stuff for the house. It's like industrial for like a
Yes,
business,
yes,
like
they're all wide in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those like big like UFO style cameras that yeah.
Well,
This guy used to work for ADT, and he did like residential. He did a not residential, commercial office spaces for them, and he hit us a bunch of just leftover keypads and cameras, and it was all new. It was like all like new or new open box, never been used kind of stuff.
I
Yeah.
got I got one of those cameras. It had a they have Canon T6s in them.
Dang. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
I had a
That's like
and my brother has. I think it's a T6, or it's one of the good Canons. You know, decent, a Rebel Canon Rebel T something. And it, back in its day, it was like a it was probably like a $600 camera, and you have the big
it
long
has like
box.
yeah.
It was literally a camera in there with a bunch of other controls, but it was a camera with wires plugged into the ports.
It's
And I pulled
crazy.
it out. I was like, "Oh snap!"
Yes, I just added this before the show starts. This is going on my vlog tomorrow. I was showing a little bit of it. Like this is what I'm talking about. Like look at these things. That's the size of my head. I got
Yeah,
a big head, so
but
that's the kind of stuff I was buying. Yeah.
those are probably between 1 and 250, right?
What do you mean value?
Price wise.
Used. Yeah. Not new. New is way more. Yeah. So
So what do you
that
what,
one's 700.
really?
Yeah.
How many
Uh,
did you buy? All of it?
so here's the thing. I bought something similar in Pennsylvania like 2 years ago, and I bought a couple things. And then I came back home, I started listening, and I'm like, why did I not go and buy everything from the guy? Right?
Everything.
I had the remorse thing. So here, and I went, bought four things. It was in the community sale. I'm driving around, and the whole time I'm at a yard sale, I'm thinking about why did I just go and buy everything else? I go back and I'm like, hey, how about we just do like, how about everything that you have in a security system? I want it. And he was giving me, he was already had fair prices. He had $20 on stuff that was selling for $400, $500. And he's like, all right, everything for $100. And I was like, so I couldn't pay him fast enough. I was like, yes, 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 yes. I listed it all on Saturday. I have $4,800 of stuff from that one yard sale. I spent $150 so on
How
everything.
much of it you sold?
I haven't sold anything yet, but it's only been Saturday. It's only been like 4 days, two
You'll
days.
sell. You'll also sell. You do overseas, right?
Yes, I do
Yeah.
overseas.
You'll sell out of every You'll probably sell like 5% of it overseas.
Yeah, I had already three offers on stuff. One I was debating about taking. It was for like it was like a lock for a door. I was selling for 50. Some guy sent me offer for 30. I was thinking about taking it, but I had some offers for the cameras. I'm selling for 300. They're offering like $100, which is a little too low, especially after just only been for a couple of days. If a month later, or whatever, if somebody's selling me an offer like that, I'll probably take it. But
Yeah.
a little too early now, but yeah, it was a crazy good deal. And
That's
the
all.
guy was like super happy to get rid of it. He was like shaking my hand. He gave me his card, like all these things. I was like,
A
sweet.
lot. Is that what he did, or
What do you
is that
mean?
what he used to do? How did he get him? Did he say?
Yeah, he used to work for ADT. The security
Yeah.
he used to work. He's retired now, and he just had a bunch of just this stuff in the garage. I'm thinking about legit because I have his number. Just texting him like, hey, if you have anything more, I'll drive
You know
down.
what
I'll pay.
works. You know what works, Paul, too, is sometimes it's a little sketchy to do this, but if you know of any of your buddies that have the stuff, I'm interested
Oh yeah.
because
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
yeah, if if any of your buddies have any of this stuff, I'm doing a project. I just say I'm doing a project. Doesn't mean I'm selling it. I'm not selling it. It's a project.
Yeah.
And if you have anything else, I'm looking for some certain ones. Please let me know.
Yeah.
Please
And
text.
I never like broke him or whatever with negotiations. It was
Yeah.
like it was like I'm paying whatever you like. The first thing I didn't haggle at all. I just paid him what he wanted, and I just came back and I said, "Hey, what would you do for everything?" And he gave me a price that I said yes. So he knows I'm a reasonable guy, and I'm not there like breaking his arm trying to get $5 less for what something else. You know what I mean?
And
So hopefully he wants to deal with me in the future, and we can continue this
some,
partnership going.
sometimes they'll feel you out and they won't go down. And then once you break the ice with them, you're getting everything for. I've had times where I've overpaid, and then all of a sudden now I go to this guy's flea market stand and he's giving me stuff that he should be charging me 30, and he's charging me 3.
Yeah, it's a big part about this is relationships. A big part about like I've already learned that through here. I already have a couple of people connections in Florida, knowing that hey, okay, this guy buys stuff and he pays a fair price. And whenever I come across it, I'll reach out to him and he'll get first dibs. And
There's that one
that's a huge part about being successful in this business for sure.
there's a one guy I saw in the video, DHD CNC picker tile pig something. I really don't understand how to say it.
That's close to it. I think you got
Close.
it right.
I got. I'll go back and look and try to watch the videos. I think it's the guy that works out of a strip club because everything's black behind him. So I don't know
Yeah,
if there's a
that's
stripper pole
pretty
or
accurate too. It's pretty accurate too.
everybody else has like bins and little gadgets behind him, and this place is all black. It's all freaky. And then he's like, "Oh, come on into my storage unit," and it's just anyway. I've seen you hanging out with this guy. Just watch yourself. That's all I'm gonna say.
This guy's also like 4 feet tall, so I don't have to much to worry about. I don't think he can do much to me, so I think we're good.
So
He's
what
not your size or anything like that, you
is
know.
that? What events are you doing? Any? Are you going to 127 or anything?
I am not going to 127. I'm not going to 27. Do you know Mel from Australia? Do you know who she is?
I've heard the name.
Back from Burnout. She sells books in Australia.
I think so.
Yeah, so she's doing a Welcome to America tour. She's flying to America. What did you just do? What did you just do, man?
I just
What are you
I just
dropping on my show? What is so anyway, she's doing a Welcome to America kind of tour. She's going to a bunch of different places. And she's going to Florida the same weekend where 127 is. So I'm going to be hanging out with her in Florida. I am going to FlipCon. I don't know if you're going to FlipCon or not. I know
why
you
are you
went
going
last
to?
time because Mel's going to FlipCon. So I'm driving her there and she got me a ticket. So I have to pay for a ticket. So I'm going
Okay.
to be a
When
FlipCon.
you drive through, you might drive right by me.
We probably are because I'm going
Are
south
you
to north.
driving up and then driving back?
I'm driving up and driving back. Yes.
Well, let me know because I was gonna go, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
You're like you said, you're an hour away from Charlotte, right? So
Yeah,
definitely, we're trying to hit up some spots on the way there and back. So we definitely can hit up your warehouse
I
and
might
rob you
get
real quick.
lost in the facility.
Well, you went last time, right? Did you go last year? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then I'm going to the rally
Yep.
in September.
So you'll
So,
be my life preserver if I drown.
oh, you go to the rally too?
Yeah,
Oh, that's good. Oh, see, look at that.
yeah, yeah.
You get to see me. We'll be good. I was thinking about doing. There's another big one called Boss.
Boss Seller
In
Remix. That's out
in
west.
that's in Vegas. I think it's in October,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure. We'll cross that bridge when we get to that one. I'm happy with these two right now. I get it. I'm trying to be smart about everything that I go to. Also, have a good work-life balance, but not take too many vacations at the same time, and then hurt my eBay store. So it's. I would love to go to everything. Once I become a full-time YouTuber, Leroy, maybe then I'll go to everything. But still, I gotta sell some things, so I can't be a full-time YouTuber yet.
You
So
can be a YouTuber. Well, you're always gonna have to buy stuff to sell it. So
yeah,
because of where you are. But
yeah. Well, again,
That's
the
cool.
my content is going to, if I do become a full-time YouTuber, people accuse me of being, it's still going to be reseller content. So I can't just like buy it and just throw it in a trash can. So it's, I'm still going to have to list it and sell it. You know,
I'm not gonna
so
say any names, but you're gonna just invite all of your friends and then just film everything that they buy.
I guess that could work too. Just invite you over and just film you the whole time, man, and just see your interactions.
Yeah,
Nah.
yeah.
We're doing a good job of getting off the union work real fast. I don't know how it was in Boston, in Pennsylvania, in Philly especially. I used to have a handyman company and a moving business, and one of my clients worked in a union building, and they did not let me do one single task in that building because I wasn't unionized. Is that how the same thing works in Boston?
It's not even that. It's as much as electrician can't sweep up his own mess on the floor.
Yeah, like I had a client that hired me to set up. It wasn't a convention center in Philadelphia, so they were doing an event. They hired me to go to their office in Pennsylvania, grab all the stuff, tables, chairs, bring them to a convention center and set it up. As soon as I got to the building, they did not let me in the building. They're
Nope,
like, you're not a union worker, you can't do this." And
nope.
I'm like, they hired me. They were like, doesn't matter, you cannot
They still have to pay you,
do
and
it.
then they got to pay them.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's crazy. So there be jobs like that where you just like do some random like off the beaten path work because nobody else can do it.
Hmm. You
Interesting.
would, I would, I would be doing a job, and I work for the Masons. I work for everybody. I was a general laborer, so
You would work for the Masons.
I did a lot of demolition. I did a lot of masonry. I did a lot of concrete. I did a lot of cleaning. Um, I've done a lot. I put up temp fences. People couldn't walk the carpenters, which are union. There's all rules, and they couldn't carry their 2x4 no longer than 50 feet.
What?
Yes, they could only carry their tool belt. They couldn't carry their own boxes and saws from the toolbox.
Who makes these rules up?
It's union. It's union. Yeah, it's like Pacific. Like it's crazy. Like, so for instance, a delivery would come, and depending on what it was, so the carpenters had in theirs that a laborer couldn't touch cabinets as long as they weren't in boxes. So they would tell whoever they buy their cabinets from, don't put them in boxes.
So if they came in the box, it was your job to open
It
that
was my
box.
job to bring. It was my job to bring them to their station wherever they were using them.
Oh my goodness, man. That's
Yeah, it's a lot more than what you guys think.
like
It
I knew it was like a pain, but it's like it's crazy like how like
the,
detailed it is. Like I was even I got in trouble for parking in my car because it was a union parking spot.
mhm.
Like you have to be union to park there. And I'm like, I don't see it. Like I don't see that sign anywhere. Like you just gotta know that's a union parking spot. I was like,
and
what?
and where you're from in Philly and where I'm from in Boston, when I and no offense if any of my old, because I still have friends that are still in the union. If any of you guys are watching this, I'm not picking on anybody or Anthony or Vinny. Please don't beat me up.
We definitely don't want to pick on Anthony or Vinny. They
Yeah,
seem serious.
but honestly, they really were Anthony and Vinny's, and honestly, like it was still Italian run.
Yeah.
So it's like it's crazy. Like the BA would come, and one time the BA is called he's called the BA, but he's the business agent.
Hmm.
And there was one BA that came. Now, depending on where you're working, say for instance, it's Paul and Leroy's construction, and we have five of our own guys, and the job needs five of our own guys. We can only bring our foreman and one other worker. It had to be one for one.
Really?
So every employee that we had, if we had 6 employees,
Has to be a union guy to match it.
there had to be six. Yes, six
Wow.
union guys. Yeah. So one time, in his districts. So I was working in another district because I stayed with one company. So I was working in a different district, and the BA came and he said, "I told your super that you can't be here." And he said, and I said, "Hey, it has nothing to do with me." I said, "I apologize. I'm just doing what they say." And I was joking around, and I knew his stepson, his not a stepson, his son-in-law, and I was joking around, and I said to him, I said, "Hey," I said, "Oh, he's a little guy. I'll just push him down the hill." He comes back up the hill, and he pulls up his shirt in the front, and he had a piece in the front, and I said, "Hey, I'm only kidding. I would never hurt you. You need anything?" He didn't wave it at me. He just lifted up his shirt.
You know to stop jokes real quick when that happens. Huh? You're like, holy
Yeah,
roly.
yeah. I never messed with him again. He was on the Franklin branch. But no, I could do a YouTube channel just on that stuff. I'm telling you,
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure
I'll
you got
probably
some
be dead.
stories, man.
I'll probably be dead in a
Oh
couple of
yeah.
years. But I will
Videos,
tell
videos always watching. Yeah, just
yeah, I will tell you. I don't know how long we're supposed to go, but I will tell you, it made me tougher and it made me not put up with people's BS
oh, for
because
sure. I
people
believe
will
it.
try to walk on you. And I've got some stories that I probably can't share on this. I'll tell Paul after.
Oh
Things that
man,
happened.
why can't you share about it here?
I one of them I just can't.
I want to hear more stories. Is
Uh,
there something that you can share? Can you-
I, I'm gonna share one. It's the best one. And
okay.
the other women, I don't want. I can't share that. I can't do it.
Oh man, I thought I got it out of you.
All right. I'm gonna share it, and I hope no. Please, this is the end of the video. So if you're still watching, you really like Paul, and you really
Oh, it's
like me.
not the end of the video. It's still have an hour. These are 2 hours long, so
Oh, okay.
it's still got an hour left.
Oh, good. But so so the thing is, I was working with this crew, and you guys always know me with a Steelers hat. Like that's what I've
Yes,
always worn. One of the grounds people took my Steelers hat, and he threw it on the ground, and he covered it in dirt,
that's
and then
disrespectful, man.
totally disrespected me. And I was like, "Who messed with my hat? Not me, not me, not me, not me. Nobody." So I shut my mouth and never said nothing to nobody, and I waited. About 3 weeks later, one of the crews come up to me and hey, Leroy, you like the Steelers? They suck. And I said, huh? I said, oh, hey, which one of you guys messed with my hat? He goes, it wasn't me, it was Jose. Okay, thank you. I waited for Jose to go to break. Any woman, no offense, but I don't let people push me over. So you might want to close your ears. So I grabbed my zipper, put my zipper down, grabbed my grundle sweat, and I got my finger and I put it right here inside his hard hat, and I put his hard hat back on the ground, and I went back to work. And the rest of the job, I call him penis head. I never told anybody. It is what it was. Nobody got hurt, and I was
You felt good about it, right? You were just like,
I didn't go around bragging. I was upset,
yeah,
because these guys will work you. I had a carpenter that what he did was he would always go get my saw, go get this, hurry up, do this. Like he was like yelling at me, and I'm 30 years old.
yeah.
So I got the spray foam and I got some blue tape and I put it around this drill. I got a drill right here. Actually, this is one of the drills that it was. So I got the drill, and inside this one of these little holes here, I put tape around it, and I folded the tip of the spray foam, and I just went, and I put it in there over the weekend. Well, when he went to go use his drill, the next Monday he went, and it just smoked and it fried it. Didn't
You
tell
broke
nobody
the poor man's drill, man. How dare you?
because and it wasn't for me to get for them to know. I never went and bragged about it. I'm not a
Yeah.
bragger like that. I joke around telling you guys this is something that happened 10 years ago, but I just I didn't like to get pushed, and they would push you. They would push you as far as they
Well,
could.
a big part is also if they just push you and you don't defend yourself, you just become a doormat the whole time,
Yes.
and then you don't want that as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, I understand
Yeah.
where you're coming from. Yeah.
When you're dealing with all these burly big men and grumpy and attitudes, man, it was worse. You women think that you guys have it tough working with women and women's attitudes. Man, some of these men, it was horrible. It was so bad.
Eh, a lot easier now, right? Where you are,
Yeah, I don't have no problems.
you had to deal with a return request than not to deal with that.
And I don't get many. I had a couple this week. Um, I haven't.
Somebody wanted to return your nuts. They weren't happy with the nuts you bought. You gave them.
They were not happy with the nuts. The nuts were not the nuts they wanted. No, I had the last two returns were shipping damages.
Ah, okay. Well, that's not much you can do about that. Yeah.
And there's really not. You could try to fight UPS and USPS. It's not even worth it in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, um, it's just not worth it. So, I made a deal with the guy. It was a $50 item. I was like, listen, I'm very sorry. If you think that you can still use some of this, I'll give you half off. He sent me pictures and everything, and I just let him have it. What am I? I could piece it out. I definitely could have pieced it out, but just I don't want you to send the stuff back.
That's interesting. See, I'm the opposite. I wanted to send it back just because Dad allowed them don't do it because it requires work on their part. You know what I mean? So I always make them send it back, and then, for example, I got three returns today that came back to me. Three returns. Oh, two of them was just didn't like it, so it's something I just relisted again. The third one was a lady that, man. So I have to be a lot better at this. I preach this a lot, but I have to be better about this myself. Is a lot of times when you get like a negative return and it's falsely and the lady's lying to you and all this stuff, you just let that affect your mood so much your whole day is just destroyed thinking about
No,
that lady. And when in the whole aspect, 99% of your day was great. You had a good sales day. Everything was good. You had a beautiful
listen,
day. You're awake. You're alive for crying out loud. And then for some reason, my day was just ruined because that stupid lady did not know the color white. What was the color white supposed to look like? And then she lied and said that the size was wrong and it wasn't. And my whole day was just ruined by it. Like I have to just always have this mentality of like, think about the positive. 99% of eBay is great. It's great. But we focus on that 1% in our days ruined. So today I was going to call eBay and complain and do that. I just threw the pants in the trash. I gave her it was $18 pants I was complaining about. I just gave her the
that
refund,
you
threw them in
paid
the
50
trash.
cents for.
Yeah. I just threw them in the trash and then said, forget about it. We're just gonna move on. So then the other two were with digital cameras that didn't want. I just listed them and they're back up and running. But like I said, a lot of times those stupid little returns like that affect their mindset way too much. I think way more than they should.
And most of the time, I mean, my percentage is 0.08. I don't
Oh
even.
wow. Nobody ever returns your nuts, huh?
No, no, it might actually be like point zero. It might be like it's low. It's super low.
Way
Uh,
lower than mine. Mine's
like straight up three.
3%. It's like 3.0. It's less than 1/10 of four. So it's like 3.04 something like that percent once that gets returned.
It
So
be in your seller level. Where do you find that? You find that
yeah, it will be under eBay.
yeah,
Then you click on the.
overview.
I always click on seller level forecast where it says top rated or whatever right there. Or click on overview, then seller level forecast, and then
Um,
scroll down and it will say return rate.
seller level. Yep. And then where
Click
is it?
and then scroll the way down. It will say return rate.
Why don't I see seller level forecast? I only see seller level.
So on their overview, right? It says unread messages. It says awaiting shipment. It says sales, right? On the
Hold on, let me go so I can see you. All right, go
all
ahead.
right. So overview, right? You
Yeah.
on the right above the sales chart, right? On top of it, it says sales 31 days, right? Do you see that?
Yeah. Yep.
And then to the right of it, it says seller level forecast.
Yes.
Okay, underneath it, click the top rated, on,
Okay.
click that, and then scroll all the way down. And it will say return rate at the very bottom.
Return rate. My
Right.
return rate is 0.24.
So 224% of 1%. Yeah, that's it. Mine is
And then it
3.17 right
tells
now.
you 1 out of 421 transactions.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
Yeah.
And for some reason, a lot of people probably are in that 3% range or whatever, right? So uh, the thing is, like, why do we, and let's say out of that 3% return rates, let's say one out of those 10 is a scam. The other nine are probably you did something wrong, or it was the UPS's fault, or it was just something, or it was just like I just don't like it. It's nobody's fault. I just didn't like it. Do that. But one of those 10 of those is somebody trying to scam you or ruin your day. So why, like, again, I'm speaking to myself here first because I do it all the time. Like, why is our whole mentality and mindset affected so much by that very minuscule percent of what happens in our business when the rest of it is great? It's crazy how it works.
We let society do that to us. We big time let society do that to us because, like you said, it's like at the end of the day, everything else that day was good. Like everything you listed, you bought something, you didn't know if it was any good and it was not damaged. But
Yeah.
that one person that, you know, and it's always for me, I've had items. I'll tell you what. I got a story. I sold an item. It was $340. I
Dang.
sh- I sent them somebody else's item.
Oh, snap.
I sent the $300 item to somebody else.
Oh, my
The guy
goodness.
sends me a message and says, "Hey, I didn't order these pliers." He sends me a picture, and I'm like,
Your
"Oh."
heart probably just sank, right? You're like,
In the
holy moly.
listen, I would have did anything. I wouldn't have wanted grundle sweat on my baseball cap, but I would have did pretty much anything else to try to get that item back to me. Do you have a cash app? I send him cash app. I was like, here's $40. Please send that back to me. His item was like 17, right? So make a long story short, he did send it back to me. I messaged the person. I said, hey, you got the wrong item. Your item is on its way. I didn't even want to play with them sending it to him. I needed
Yeah.
to send it to him. So I sent it back. Hey, never responded, never returned the other item, nothing.
Yeah.
And then you get an order for $6 and they say, well, your coloring was off on your pictures. Dude,
It's always those low value ones, right? Yeah.
but you got a craftsman wrench.
What do you care
The
about the color
coloring's
for,
off
right?
on the craftsman wrench for real, bro?
It's always though like those low value ones that people complain the most about, and it's also another reason why people don't like to sell that kind of stuff. It's because the people that buy that kind of items always a lot of them complain. Like I said, like I usually never. I'm thinking about now for items that sell at like over $100. I usually never get a bogus complaint unless someone's legit trying to scam me. But the
I don't
people,
even get I don't even get a feedback.
yeah. Well, I get some like over the last 2 weeks, I sold two $400 items in over the last 2 weeks. I had a couple good weeks, man. I've been really good. I
That's
sold a remote, man. A remote for a bed that I paid $1 for. Sold for
oh,
400.
no way.
$400. Great sale. The guy left me a positive feedback saying like thanks. I was like, whew, that
Yeah,
felt good.
thanks. Just
Yeah.
thanks. You're
And then
sweating. You bring it to the post office. Did you have two in 1 week? That $400.
yeah.
Yeah, You bring it to the post office like with cloth gloves.
And the other one was for like a Christmas tree. This sale is like it's stupid. Like I don't know why it's worth so much. I'm gonna try to show it to you here. It was for a Christmas tree, Danbury and Christmas tree, but it's decorated by dogs. There's dogs on it, right? I already see your face, confused. It was Boston Terrier's dogs. Here you go. I'll show you the item, Leroy. You can take a look. So, see, it's like a Christmas tree, but there's Boston Terriers everywhere.
It looks like it's the size of like what is it like 13 by 8 by 8? Not even.
Yeah, the box I shipped it was like 24 by 18, but I had a lot of foam and stuff packing it. The tree
Yeah.
itself isn't that big. All right, look what it sold for. All right, look at it. Plus shipping, right?
Wow.
375 plus the shipping. And again, I got the feedback on it today, so it was a positive feedback. So I was like, okay, phew, I can breathe out of that one. It was what did he write? Item arrived safely and timely. Smooth rejection A plus seller. I was like, let's
Very, very good.
go. We take those. I paid $25 for that one. I paid $25 for that tree. That was 375, and the remote was a buck into 400.
So you paid up for it a little bit.
Well, I saw somebody, I forgot where. I think it was like on one of those like Facebook groups. Somebody posted about it, and ever since that just was ingrained in my head. And like, oh, dogs on trees, good. It's like Paul, remember, dogs on trees, good. So when I saw this at a yard sale, I'm like, that's the one. I knew it was sell for like 300. So the guy said $25. I was like, sold instantly. Like, yes, I'm taking it.
I like when you have good friends that you go picking with. So I'm picking tools in Virginia, and I'm with all the boys and Uncle Steve, and Uncle Steve gets something. He goes, "Oh, you got a pile." He goes, "Put this in your pile." I said,
Fresh
"Okay."
water pump. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
no idea what it is. He said, "Put it in your pile. We'll talk about it later." So I bought everything for $75. I got a ton of stuff. I had one snap on uh
Torque wrench.
torque wrench. It was a big one,
I
and
can see the hand motion you were doing. If you I could figure out what you're trying to say.
yeah, I'm very handsy, and I sold that for like 120, right? And they said put that in your pile. I put that in my pile, and it sold right away, like when I got home
Dang.
and listed it. But like that's the crazy thing is like he could have easily just bought it for himself. He comped it. I didn't comp it. I was just making a pile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was happy because I saw the snap-on breaker bar. I'm not breaker bar, the snap-on torque wrench. It was a big
Yeah.
one. So I was excited about that and some of the other things I found. I wasn't paying any attention to the water pump. I probably wouldn't have picked it up.
Well, that's a big part about, like you said, you have to go with friends that are going there because they want to hang out with you more than they just want to go get the best deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I went picking with Kayla and Matt in Georgia earlier this year, Matt Kayla the same way. Like I would be buying some things, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're buying this? I don't really want to buy something at the sale, but here you go. There's a bowling ball. She's selling for $5. Sells for 150. Put it in your pile." And I'm like, "Oh, sweet. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that." Or I'd be like, "Oh, you're buying this? I don't really want to buy. Like here, these shoes sell for $50. You're asking $2. Put them in." I was like, "Yeah, thanks." And again, because they their goal there wasn't, it was the same as my goal. I went there to hang out with friends, and
Yeah.
then picking was second. It wasn't like, oh, I gotta go there and get the best stuff and have the best profits. And like, no, I went there to experience picking with my friends, and then the picking is second. So it'd be stuff like, well, I'm not buying something over here. By the way, this thing over here is good. And if you go with that mentality, it makes picking a lot more fun
Yeah,
than going
and
by
the
yourself.
learning. I mean, of course, the learning aspect of it. We. I mean, I would say honestly. I mean, as much people might not think so, but I would feel I'm very seasoned. I'm a very seasoned,
You're definitely seasoned. That's very accurate.
and you're very good at what you do. And we could go somewhere. And
I'm still fresh. No, don't you dare call me seasoned. I'm still
no,
fresh.
no, but but you also like I've been with people and like they're like, I can't believe this. Like they would never say it to your face, but like I can't believe these guys passed on this stuff. If I passed on it, I passed on it. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I shop, and most of the guys on my channel know I shop with a budget. So I will go to like $100
The budget is a quarter. It's a crazy
The,
budget.
the budget is like $100 a day. That's it,
Yeah, which is not much.
which is not much. And I still go home with about 100 pieces. I
Nope.
want to. That's what my object is to, you know, once it's all done, it's like it ends up being like $3 or $4 a piece. The way that I do it is whatever I spent for that week, I count how many items that are sellable on eBay, and then I times that by how much I spent. So if I
Okay.
spent 325 that weekend and I got 115 pieces, that's how much I paid for the items.
Yeah.
Even though that pump was thrown in the
Was
pile.
more or whatever or less? Yeah. It's just your average buy cost is $3 or whatever, right?
Yeah,
That's how you do it.
because there
Yeah.
are times where something I was willing to pay $10 for, I got for two.
Yeah.
But then something I really only wanted to pay two for, but I knew it was a fast seller, I paid five. And I only sold it for 15, but I know it's a fast seller.
Yeah. No, that's another good way to look at it. It's sometimes the return's better for you. Sometimes the how fast it sells is better for you. But and again, as long as you're making money on stuff, that's good. Like again, there's some people out there that say, I would never buy anything unless I'm getting 10x my money on it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, if I buy this for 20 and it sells for 50 the next day, why would I live by that rule if I know I can make an extra $30 just if I pick it up? It's
Well,
like printing money.
when I went to Virginia, I got 115 or 110 items. I listed them all in 8 days, and I've already sold 73 pieces.
Dang. And that yard sale just happened. That wasn't
Yeah,
like it was like a
that was
month ago,
about
right?
6 weeks ago now.
Look at you. Okay,
But
show
but
off.
but I do. But I think if I remember correctly, I think your motto is similar to mine, where I have a slogan for mine, but I call it "Price it low and let it go." But I think you're not.
It's
Are you top of the market? Or you? Where do you go?
it depends. If it's an oversaturated market, I'll be a little lower. If it's a rare item, I will go top. It just depends on what I'm selling. So, for example, like right now, I'm listing. You'll see over here. I'm listing Christmas houses, right? Right now, I know they won't sell right now, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
actually,
listen, hi.
I say they won't sell right now. I sold six today, so
Oh,
so I don't know. So
yeah,
I'm listing them at the top now
yeah,
because I know once September rolls around, people are going to buy them at that price. But if the people buy them earlier, I'm good. So I bought a bunch of these last week. I spent $300 on a private pick, all Christmas houses. There was like over 150 houses there, so I'm in them at about $2 a pop. I'm listing them at about 30 to 40 each. So the ROI on them is insane, and I want to list them now because I want them out of the house. I don't want them in the house. I want them in storage and put away, ready to be backed and shipped. And like I said, when I bought them, I'm like, I know they're going to sell a lot faster in the fall, but just listen now. And yes, some lady bought four for me today. She messaged me and said she has a budget to buy four houses a month. That's her budget. She's like, I'll be back next month. I'm gonna buy four more. So she buys these for a living, but she has her own budget for them. So I'm like, good thing I listed them earlier. So
yeah.
I'm on. And then two other people bought one of each too. So for these, I'm putting them at the top. For example, like if I'm listing shoes and there's already like 20 of the same shoes that are listed, I'd probably do bottom, middle, bottom to middle with offers on.
Is that
And
20 same size or 20 same style? How do you,
s- size, styles, it's all relative, I guess. It depends on the shoe. But shoes, I know they're like it's a very competitive space. That I know if somebody clicks on my shoe, I really want to reel that sale in. So let's say like I have a shoe that I'm listing for 40 and somebody sends me an offer for 30 and I pay $2 for it, I'm saying yes.
I'm letting it
Other
go.
other people might counter 35 or whatever. I'm very happy with that 20 plus profit. And I know that if I might say no to him, he'll go to somebody else and he'll buy that shoe that same day. Like, so I'd rather him buy it from me than from somebody else. So like for stuff like this that might be more rare and there's maybe like only one other house like this on the market, I'll be a lot more competitive with it and with what I accept. So if the house is listed for 50, somebody says offer for 30, I won't say yes. So I'll counter at 40 or 45, whatever. You know what I mean? So it's
I'm
all based
always
on what you got.
yeah, I'm always middle bottom. Um, but
It's a good place to be. Good place to
I'm
be
middle
if you want to move things for sure.
yeah, I'm middle bottom buy it now. Not middle bottom auction.
No, you don't want to be
Don't
middle
know
bottom
about
auction. Yeah.
middle bottom auction. You lose your shots.
Yep. Middle bottom buy it now. And as long as you shop with that mentality, knowing that hey, I'm gonna pay $5 for this. It's gonna sell for 30, but it's gonna sell within a week. Can be very successful doing
I'm gonna be
it.
honest with you. I feel that so I have a system that I do, and it's actually going to be in the next reseller information network
Oh,
that comes out on
little
that.
plug.
Yeah, that comes out on Friday.
Oh, well, this
Talking
comes
about
out on Wednesday, so they'll know about it.
yeah, talking about my bin system here that I have behind me that you guys see. I have every shelf is 100, so 0 to 99, 100 through, 200 through, 300 through, 400 through. I go all the way down to 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't have 2,000 things listed. I only have 1,000. But what I do is now, right now, I'm at. I started over again, so I'm at tomorrow. I'll be pulling bin 170s to 199. I'll take that. I'll take whatever 8 pieces or 12 pieces that are left. I'll look and see. Okay, what did they do? I spend about 45 minutes on those items. I look to see why aren't they selling? Should I change something? What numbers are they? What numbers are missing in the bin? What numbers should be in the bin? And then I look at it and I'll say, okay, well, I I'll be like, so these are the numbers. So I'll be like, these are the numbers that are in the bin. These are numbers I can rewrite and fill that bin back up so I'm not wasting space.
Yeah.
And then
How often do you do this?
I do it every day. But
Really? Wow. Okay.
it's a bin a day. So every bin holds 25. So I might list 15, 10, 15 a day depending on what I'm doing. And and then I'll go to the next bin. And it takes me I have I forgot I counted today too. I think I have like 75 bins.
Wow. That's a
So
lot.
it takes me about 75 days. I'd
Yeah.
say honestly it's probably more
2.5 months. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's more like 3.5 months. And then
Uh-huh.
I come back and I do it again. So when I come back and I do it again, if I say, hey, this is my third time coming back to this, it's I'm gonna just price it really low, put it on sale. But my mentality is it's really not if it sells in a week or two. If it sells before I come back again, that's still really good.
Yeah, for sure.
If it sells within 3.5 months, in my personal opinion,
That's
that's
really good. Yeah, I was talking about this on my vlog the other day too. So I do kind of like what you do, but I just do it virtually. I do edit and relist every 90 days. I go to
I do that.
yeah,
I edit and
yeah,
relist the ones that are left in the bin.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I do that in 9 days, and 2 days ago on the June 25th, I got to March 25th, and I was looking at the items. And I'm like, oh, I know this. I did 100. I did that March 25th. I did a challenge to myself where I listed 100 items a day. And I remember those things were from the challenge. And I was like, oh, let me see how many I have to end list because I listed 100 that day. I had to end list only 32. I was like, dang, I sold 68 items in 90 days out of those
Yeah,
100. That's sick. I was like super happy. I was like, dang, that's really good. Like
yeah.
that stuff is gone.
I
Yeah.
mean,
So
myself for what I have listed and what I sell is I forgot how people say it.
sell to rate.
Yeah, sell through rate. I just go through what the numbers show on my phone. So I have 956 listed, and I've sold, and this is 90 days, and I've sold 460.
That's really good.
Yeah, I mean
I
to me,
remember you posting like in May that you reached 1,000 for the first time, right?
yeah, and
Right.
I just went back down. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, that's really good. Sometimes I remember back in the day, I would have like 3,000 listed, and I would have only like 400 sold. So for 900 is really good. Yeah,
yeah. And I'll tell you guys, I had the privilege, the disrespect, the dishonor, and he had the integrity to show me his 90 day one time. After picking myself up off the floor, almost having a heart attack and wanting to kill myself in the same breath. um, but I think when you did showed me, I think you had 6,500. Am I correct at one time?
I had more than that. Yeah, but at one time I had 6,500. And my
Yeah,
highest was like 7,900.
and he didn't use a SKU system. I'd be with him
Yeah,
on a trip, and he'd be telling his assistant, third shelf, fourth box.
no, I wouldn't say that. I would have. Let's be honest here. I had a. So before I leave for all my
You take
trips,
pictures. That's
I would
right.
take
It's
pictures
just like
of all the stuff, and then I would screenshot it and circle it, and I'm like, it's right here. And then if she said it's not there, and I'm like, well, I have no clue where it is.
yeah, I remember because we were at the Red Barn. If I'm correct,
Yeah.
we were
Uh-huh.
at the Red Barn, and you she was having a hard time trying to find something, and that's where you showed me the circle.
Yep. I'm like, it's right here. It's on that shelf.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it was crazy. He said it's a different now. Again, like I said, Florida was a different mentality. Everything is now skewed. Everything that I list gets skewed because I don't have wide open shelves here where I just like I know where I put things. It's all in boxes in the garage, and the boxes are all closed. It has 24, 23, 22, 21. So when I put stuff in there, like I say, garage 24, garage 21, blah blah blah.
now, do
So
they
it's
have
all
their own
skewed now.
numbers? Do they have their own numbers like my stuff does? Or
Like every individual item, no.
yeah, yeah. Like so, this is item 267. I'm 276 small box. This is a small box.
Yeah, no, they're just in. I have big 20 by 18 by 20 boxes that I built, and they fit perfectly the shelves that I have in there. They're just numbered. It says garage, blah 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 blah. And I think I have 27 of those big garage boxes, and then I have kind of stuff like what you have. There's like this behind you, like smaller bins, and those are labeled A, B, C in letters. So like all the medium size items, small items go in those small bins, and the bigger stuff like my shoes, my power tools, all that stuff goes into the big boxes. So I that way, like I don't want to be like, for example, like I don't want to have like a big box like that, and then I'm digging through for like I don't know, like some scissors or something, right? I don't want to go through dig through that whole box or something like that. I'll put these in
Small
the
box.
smaller bins so that way I
Yeah.
can find them faster. And then I even have smaller bins in my room for like smalls for like
Jewelry or anything like
yeah,
that.
or like things like this big. Like I don't want to be digging for something this big in a box that has these in it. You know what I mean?
But
And I find things like faster now than I would find in my warehouse. Clearly, because I'm way more organized. So that would make more sense.
question. I believe I could be wrong. But I've watched your videos. I don't watch all of them. Just
You don't watch all of them?
no, no.
All right,
I probably won't watch this one. No, I will.
all
Um,
right.
but
Everybody say goodbye to Leroy. It was fun having him on.
it's, But hey, I'm real. This is about as real as you're gonna get, man.
To be honest, Leroy, I am very impressed with somebody that can watch all of them. I put out 8 videos a week. So if somebody has time to watch 8 videos a week, God bless them.
Yeah.
Two of them are this podcast, which is 2 hours long. So just those 2 videos are 4 hours a week.
Do you
And then I
split the
have
podcast up?
no, this will be just one episode. So this will be the Wednesdays episode. I have a Wednesday and a Sunday episode. So this will be just this episode. Then I have 4 vlogs a week. Those vlogs are usually half an hour long. So that's another 2 hours of content people have to watch. And on top of that, I have two main videos, which is about also half an hour long. So it's another hour of content. So you add eight, so you add 4, 6, 7 hours of content I put out every single week for the people that watch them. God bless them.
Yeah.
I like some of you guys that are watching this podcast. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
If you guys have enough time to watch all that, from me and not get tired of me, that's insanity.
It's good to listen. I listen on the back. Like I'll just put it on and then
You
go
just like
through my.
you just like my sexy voice. That's what you do. You just like
That, that's
and
what
just
it
like
is.
you just like that's why you watch it. I know you. I know you.
Now with these, you don't have to do much editing, right?
Legit. It's just I cut out maybe the like a half a second in the beginning and a half second at the end. And
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah. That's why I like these a lot. This is because I don't feel like I'm doing so far. So we're 11 episodes in. I don't feel like I've done work once yet with this thing because like I feel like I'm just talking to a friend the whole time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm catching up with you. We're chit chatting the whole time, and that's it. That there's no fancy edits or whatever. I just gotta upload it, put your beautiful face on the thumbnail, and that's it. And then we're done. I'm gonna ask for pictures later. Don't you worry.
Um, we were in an area, but I forgot where it was. It was a reason why we were talking about what we were talking about.
Oh, uh, f- me being more organized, and you said something like, "I watch your videos," and then I cut you off. Then
Yeah,
I don't remember where
that
else
was
we went from there.
that was like 20 minutes ago. But
Yep,
I do have another story. Paul likes my stories.
I'm a big
I have
story
another
time with Leroy is great.
story time with Leroy. He's gonna cut them up. It's gonna go on his TikTok. Um, but I do have another story, and it's actually a question, but then it's my version of it. Um, so what is your shadiest buy?
Shady is by. Explain the question.
You bought something. It could have been at an auction. It could have been at a yard sale. It could have been off of Facebook Marketplace. It could have been somebody came to your door or came to your workshop, and you were just like, man, this like I'm not stealing it. I didn't steal it. I don't think it's stolen, but this is just a little sketch.
I I guess for me it wasn't even a buy. It was for free. But the stuff I was most scared about was a lady broke up with her boyfriend, and he had a bunch
Oh,
of car
God
parts.
knows.
He had a bunch of car parts at her house, and
Yeah.
she would just like give them away for free. He had like a suspension, he had an exhaust for his Silverado. It was like 5 grand worth of car parts that she was giving away for free, and I
And you
grabbed
probably
them
got
all.
$1,500 off of all of it.
Yeah, I got them all, and I actually waited 6 months to list them because I was scared that she would tell him, and he would be searching the marketplace for who has the car parts or whatever. So I waited 6 months to list them, and then when I listed them, they all sold it for like a month. Yeah, but that was like the most, I guess, probably shadiest for me. It wasn't really that shady, but I was just like terrified the guy was going to come and find me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm
I
guessing you probably have a couple.
yeah, but not as. So I'm gonna tell one that was shady. Wasn't shady, but just shady. It was on Craigslist. I went with my brother. It was a
That's
whole truck.
a very good start. When you say it was a
Yeah,
Craigslist,
yeah, but this is Craigslist before.
all
This is
the scammers and stuff.
yeah. This is like Craigslist like 15 years ago. Okay, so I had my brother. My brother would always go with me, and it was a big buy for the father passed away.
Uh-huh.
So I'm making a deal, and all of a sudden this car flies in the driveway. It's one of the brothers, and he didn't like the idea of the deal. The deal was complete. I'm loading stuff up, and it was 4 kids and three of them were there. And this guy comes out of nowhere, and now he wants to change the whole deal. I'm already loading stuff up. I've already given them the money. I'm not taking the stuff out of my car.
Yeah.
So I went over to my brother. I said, "What do we do?" He goes, "You shook out a deal. The deal is done."
Yeah.
He goes, what does he want?" So my brother asked him, what do you want?" He goes, "They were supposed to talk to me. I've dealt with this lady." He goes, we dealt with this lady that's who we're dealing with. These three people said that it was okay. You need to take it up with them."
Yeah. That's not your issue anymore. Yeah. Yeah.
And she comes back out. She goes, "Listen, is there any way that you can take out this, and this?" And I said, "These two? Absolutely not. Because I was banking off of these.
Yeah.
These things are going
Yeah. I came for those items, pretty much, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
these are making me money. This one here, I can let go. If you want the other two, I want those other two boxes that you wouldn't give me." So we had to switch. But that was scary
Yeah.
because I mean, it was like, it was just when you're dealing with family and somebody died, the dad died, it was just like sketchy. Another a father died. It was one of my coworkers. His dad died. His mother went out to dinner with a lunch with a cousin. I was told to go to the house and clean out everything in the garage, but I was told that not to let her see inside the toolboxes. They went inside the toolboxes. It was a mess. It was looked like everything was sitting for years. There was mice, nests, and crap and everything
Uh,
else. And but the father had an addiction, a gambling addiction. Every drawer probably had 100 gambling tickets in it, and they didn't clean them out.
oh
So they
wow.
didn't want the mother to
To
see
know
all
about
these
that. Yeah.
tickets
Yeah.
that he spent like 200. So the son told me after that, within like 10 years, the father spent like $200,000 on scratch tickets.
That's crazy.
So I couldn't let her see me opening the drawers, taking anything out. I had to take it and put it in the van. And if I had to open anything, I had to make sure she wasn't outside.
Yeah, for sure.
That was sketchy.
That was you gotta look over your shoulder the whole time.
Yeah.
Make sure she's
And
not around. Yeah.
and the worst one was, I had a guy who was my connection. He he would buy, he would go, he had an ad in the paper. So he would go everywhere and look at stuff all day long. That's just what he did. And he had a tool guy, which was me. He had a glass guy. He had all these different guys, and he would say, "Hey, this house I went and looked at. This is what's here. If you buy anything from there, I want 5% of what you spend."
Yeah.
Right. So if I spent $100, he wants $5. I would always give him 10. You know, if he spent if I spent 300, well, I'm not gonna give him $30. I'd give him 20.
Okay.
You know, so he hooks me up with this guy, and the guy's like, "Hey, where are you?" I was like, "I'm on my way." He's like, "You said you're coming now." I said, "I'm on my way. I'm in traffic. It's 6 o'clock in the afternoon on the highway."
Yeah.
I get there, and then he's like, "Park your car over here." And I'm like, "I'm parked over here." And he's like, "Come around to the back door." Now, he's getting in, and I had my brother with me. Like I said, whenever I spent a certain amount, Chris was always with me.
That's a safe way to do it for sure.
Yeah. So, because you guys don't realize, like, you guys have yard sales. Back in the day, these were the deals. Like
Yeah.
Craigslist, this is how it was. So the guy, I finally get in the garage, and it's a big area. It's a big area. And the guy has everything on tables. And I was like, "Well, how much is this?" He's like, um, "I want $100 for it, but I don't want to just sell that." I said, "Well, how much is this?" He's like, $75, but I'm not just selling that." I said, "Listen, what are you selling?" He said, "You want to buy it all? Get it out of here tonight." And I
Okay,
said,
you want everything going, huh?
how much do you want? He goes, $500. Paul, I made 4 grand.
Dang, nice.
But it
It
was
was it was
I
shady.
it was shady. It was like you can't park here, you can't go in this door.
He's
I
calling you where you at. Is it like every
yes.
10 minutes? Yeah, yeah.
So what I think it was he was overdue on his rent.
Uh huh.
His landlord, his landlord sort of seized him out, but somebody else got him in the building, and he wanted to sell everything out of the building so his landlord wouldn't keep it and he would have something.
I gotcha. Okay.
So he was really already seized out.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I don't know the story.
It's not like you don't think he like stole from somebody then tried to pay for his rent with that money.
No, it was
Okay.
his stuff, and because he didn't pay in time or he owed the guy money, it's sort of like if you know your storage unit is going to go up for auction, and the last day you go and you rip through boxes and you take all the stuff that you
Yeah.
need because you and you that's exactly what it was.
I'm surprised when people don't do that, to be honest. Because everybody has a final day. We're like, okay, if you don't pay by this day, the storage unit takes it over and puts a lock on it. I'm surprised when people don't come
Well,
on that
that's
on
what
that
I'm
day
saying.
and just take all their stuff out, and then it's just a bunch of junk there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's why I was. That's why I felt like he was at that wit's end, like that
Yeah.
last minute. And
Okay.
I mean, I had some good. Even my dad came down.
Oh wow. Okay.
I had 2 hours to get everything out of there, and it was like it was probably more stuff than when I got here.
That's crazy. Well, a lot of times the stuff that's the most shadiest is the most profitable. That's why I take the risk, right? Big risk,
I
big
would never,
reward,
if
right?
I knew something was blatantly stolen, I wouldn't do it.
No, yeah. I
But
I I would have a hard time doing that too, right?
yeah,
That's very
but
accurate.
when
Yeah.
you buy from yard sales, and trust me, you're buying somebody's brother's stuff that is not supposed to be sold. I'm just gonna tell you, when the wife tells you it's $5 and you're running to the car because you don't want the husband to come out, guess what, guys? That's stealing.
Yeah. You guys are terrible.
And if none of you guys, I want to in the comments below, if you guys are still here, in the comments below, I want to know your story about about a shady deal that you
There we
got
go.
that you were just like, wow, I just this just didn't seem right. I want, please, I
Want the
need
shady stories, please.
I
Share the
need some
shady
shady
stories.
stories down there in the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear no grundle sweat stories, but the shady stories about the
Eh,
reselling the
Go to the Reseller Information Network and share your Grundle Sweat stories there. But you put your scary shady stories here. All right, so we got a couple minutes left, Leroy. I always end up the show with a game that we play, right? So we're gonna play this game with you. The game is called. You gotta rank these things blindly. So I'm gonna give you a category, and I'm gonna give you different things. You have to rank them blindly without knowing what comes next. One being the best, five being the worst. Okay. So your category is tools, since you're the tool guy. So I'm gonna give you a tool. You have to rank it 1 to 5, not knowing what's gonna come next on how good the tool is. If it's a good usability for you, if it's a practical tool, stuff like that. Okay. Ready?
yeah,
It gets easier when we start going. So, for example, number one for you is a tape measure. 1 to 5, where are you going to put a tape measure? One's the best, five's the worst.
3.
3 in the middle. See, that's always a smart tactic because you don't know what's coming next. You want to get the middle ground going. I feel like tape measure doesn't get them enough respect in the carpenter space, man. It's hard to do a lot with the tape measure, right? If there's no tape measure around, it's kind of hard for you to know what's going on.
Yeah.
How big of a tape measure did you carry? 4 feet, 5 feet, six
Uh,
feet,
25.
25 feet?
Tape measure, yeah.
Well, dang, what do you measure that's 25 feet long?
Most wood is 20 feet if you're in the construction industry.
Oh, the wood that you can't carry more than 50 feet is actually 20
Yeah,
feet by itself.
yeah, 20, 10 feet, but yeah, yeah.
Okay. Tape measures 3. That's a good start. Number 2, hammer.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't care what else is on the list. If you guys know me, I'm a hammer guy. Hammer's going four.
So four is bad. Four is
For
low.
bad, oh, two.
Two. I was gonna say that seems a little low for you. Yeah. So one is the best, five is the worst. Okay. Two. Why do you like a hammer so much?
I've always loved hammers. I love selling them. I love seeing different hammers I've never seen before. And a hammer is one of the first tools that was made by Indians and the trades back 1800 in the 1800s.
That makes sense. That would probably be very practical for a lot of things back in the day too. So yeah, that's what. Give me two brands of hammers that are good to sell.
Um, um, a blue point or snap-on body hammer.
Body hammer.
Yes. Commonwealth had got a couple. He sent me pictures and they sold them right away. And Eric, the same thing. If you see a hammer, guys, that is weird looking. Look it up.
That's
You
that's a
know what
very
your
good point.
regular hammers look like, your claw hammer, your ball peen
Yeah.
hammer. But if you see a metal hammer and it looks old and it looks weird, it has a long point like an X on it or a flat face and it just does weird things, look it up.
There we go. It's, it's a good advice. Good advice. All right, next pliers.
Five.
No respect for pliers. You don't use pliers often.
I know I sell some small. If you see, I'm going to give you another bolo. If you see some pliers that are they're 3 inch or 4 inch pliers, and they say Klein on them, they say Proto on them. If they're small, if they look like you could put them in your pocket, they'll sell for like $30, $40.
What are those pliers good for?
Like $30, $40.
No, I'm saying like, what does somebody use those things for though? They seem like very small
Um,
for
uh,
practical use.
some of them are older, and they go for a lot of people use them for like small electronic stuff.
Oh, okay. It's like if you're fixing like like a laptop or something, and you gotta get like a little part out. You want those very small.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
electricians or stuff like that.
Okay, gotcha.
Pliers.
And then so that was okay. So tape measure is three, pliers are five, hammers two. Next, a wrench.
What kind of wrench? Ratchet wrench.
Uh, I don't know wrench names. The one that's like looks like a wrench.
Um, a wrench. I only have one number. What do I have left? I got one left
You have
and
one and four available.
four.
Let's do this. Adjustable wrench. Let's just would that help you out? An
Four.
adjustable wrench. Four.
Yeah.
Not a big wrench guy either, huh?
Unless they're the little ones. Unless they're the little ones.
Oh, you just like the little tools, huh? You're a big fan of little tools.
Yeah.
All right. So number one for you is a screwdriver. You okay with that? You're happy with that list?
Yeah.
Screwdrivers are good, practical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they sell?
Screwdrivers.
Yeah.
Um.
The,
No, screwdriver number one. Why is screwdriver gonna be number one?
because that's the only spot you have left.
Well, no, screwdrivers suck.
You left number one spot. That's all I had left was
I was leaving something open, so I guess it's.
what do you think? What kind of tools are there left? I think I mentioned that the five more practical ones. I don't know why I didn't put hammer one. You should have put hammer at one. You weren't confident.
I was leaving room just in case you said like.
Well, you left room for the screwdriver to slide in there and just get the one spot. You played the game wrong, man. You gotta play the game better next time. I've had some luck with screwdrivers in the past. I've sold some like those old like vintage ones for like those. I don't remember the brands on them, but they sold pretty well.
Yeah, some of the wooden ones sell pretty good. Any snap-on screwdriver, you're gonna get between 15 and $30.
Well, and you snap on anything, I feel like you'll get that much too.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Yeah. All right, so there we go. There's your list: screwdriver one, hammer two, tape measure three, adjustable wrench four, and pliers five. You heard it here
First
first,
year being around, I'd put the hammer on the top.
and then screwdrivers too, or where would
No, I
screwdrivers
put
go?
screwdriver to 5.
Oh wow! So we just like screwdriver goes at the bottom, then the rest of it is good for you, huh? Gotcha, gotcha.
I have boxes. I probably have 300 screwdrivers here. I can't even put a lot of them on for 10 cents each and sell them. I've got
They
like
don't even move it like a flea market for like a quarter. Nobody buys them.
after 50 cents, nobody buys anything at the flea market.
Really?
Yeah,
That's surprising. You'd think you just do a quarter. Everybody just buys like one for a quarter, just like oh,
yeah. I've tried four for $1, which is the same thing, and it's hard to sell.
dang. That's the one thing I seem like I'm always missing around here, because I'm always taking things apart because like things need batteries. Got to get tested. I got to open a little
The
drawer.
little screwdrivers,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'm like, where did I put it? I'm always looking for that stupid screwdriver. So
Mhm.
I would be your guy. I would go to the flea market. I'll probably buy them four at a time every single time I'm going, just so because I know I'm always losing them.
If you lose them,
So
who cares?
say it's a quarter. I wouldn't care. You'd think you would sell out. All right, Leroy, thank you so much for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. Where can people find you?
I'll be at the flea market on Saturday. No, just kidding. I will. I'm on Reseller Information Network on Tuesday mornings from 9 until 12 with the boys. I am on Instagram a little bit more than I'm on YouTube. And I do have old videos that you could watch on YouTube that are really dull, boring, and a waste of your time. But
Well, look at that.
you could always message me on Instagram if you ever have any questions about tools. Um, I really enjoy answering them the best I can when I can. If I don't answer them, don't put bad post about me that I didn't message your message. I love you,
Yeah.
but I also got other
Uh,
things to do.
I will put the links down below to both Leroy's YouTube and Instagram and to the Reseller Information Network. Make sure you tell Eric I'm doing that so they can send the check my way.
Yes.
I want that check in the mail for all the promotion I'm giving him. So make sure he knows I'm doing that so the check is coming. Thank you so much, Leroy. This is a lot of fun. Gonna have you on again in the future. At that time, you're gonna sell out everything. You're gonna be on your yacht. I'm gonna do an interview of you while you're just hanging out on the yacht. It'd be great.
Nice, nice. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Paul. And you guys keep up the good work.